Hello there, I'm Jack, and I welcome you to Phantom Chamber, a safe space of dread and distress. Feel free to stick around. Time travel, a phenomenon which occupied human mind for centuries. In movies, a quick step inside a specially designed machine makes it possible. What these films show is basically time teleportation. The theoretical underpinnings of time travel date back to 1905, when Albert Einstein wrote down his special theory of relativity that showed space and time are intimately linked, and to 1916, when Einstein's general theory of relativity showed that space and time are malleable. That is, they respond to the presence of matter or energy by warping, bending, expanding, and contracting. By extension, this means if one can imagine space being filled with some exotic form of energy, then space and time could warp in a way, so that time, as well as space, could bend back upon themselves like circles, allowing one to move forward in a straight line and still return to one's starting point in both space and time. The bottom line. While the possibility of time travel continues to tantalize physicists and laypeople alike, the odds are against it. And if time travel was shown to possible in principle, the amount of energy required to create the conditions for time travel would likely be greater than the total energy available on Earth. At least for the foreseeable future, it seems that the time travel will remain the stuff of science fiction. Scientists don't think this conception is likely in the real world, but they also don't relegate time travel to the crackpot realm. In fact, the laws of physics might allow chronological hopping, but the devil is always in the details. It was July 1954 when a smartly dressed man arrives at Haneda Airport in Tokyo, Japan. Much like other passengers, he makes his way to customs, but whatever happened from this point onwards have left all puzzled and concerned. When questioned by the customs officers, the mysterious passenger said he was from Toward, also referred to as Toward Mystery. The mystery man claimed that it was the third time he was visiting Japan from his country. But, to the surprise of officers, they couldn't find any country named Tard. The primary language of the man, described as Caucasian, looking with a beard, was French. However, he was purportedly speaking Japanese and many other languages as well. Officers were perplexed because they had never heard about any such country. The passport of the man was issued by, of course, the Tord. The passport looked authentic, but the place was not recognized. The man was then given a map and asked to point out his country. He immediately pointed to the area occupied by the Principality of Andorra. Andorra is at the border of France and Spain. The man said that his country has been in existence for 1,000 years and was a little puzzled why his country was called Andorra on the map. The man argued with the customs officers for long and refused to give in. He was also carrying currencies of different countries, probably because he had made several business trips. The mystery man shared other details like the company for which he was working and the hotel where he stayed. Officials find out that the company which he mentioned existed in Tokyo, but not in Tard. Similarly, the hotel he mentioned did exist, but hotel employees informed them that no such booking was made. This prompted officers to take the man in custody for further interrogation. Officers were suspicious that he might be some criminal and confiscated his documents and personal belongings. The officers put the mystery man in a nearby hotel whilst they conducted their investigation. To ensure that the mystery man didn't escape, 2 guards were placed on the door. It must be mentioned that the hotel room in which he was staying only had 1 entry and exit point. But to everyone's surprise, the man vanished the next morning. Not only that, but all his personal documents had also disappeared. A search was launched to find the man, but in vain. The thing that was troubling investigating officers was that he was put up in a room high up in the multi-story hotel building with no balcony. Some people argued that the mystery man was indeed from Tord, but the country happens to be in another universe and somehow passed through a parallel dimension and ended up at Haneda Airport. Another theory is that the mystery man was a time traveler and had mistakenly landed at the airport. Air Marshal Sir Robert Victor Goddard was a senior commander during the Second World War, and during a flying mission in 1939, he believed he experienced what time travel buffs refer to as a time slip. He was flying over a disused Air Force base in the village of Drem, East Lothian, when he claimed to have seen it change before his very eyes. In his book, Time Travel, A New Perspective, J.H. Brennan wrote, in 1935, while still a wing commander, he was sent to inspect a disused airfield near Edinburgh at a place called Drem. He found it in a very dilapidated state with cattle grazing on grass that had forced through cracks in the tarmac. Later that day, he ran into trouble while flying his plane in heavy rain and decided to fly back to Drem to get his bearings. As he approached the airfield, the torrential rain abruptly changed to bright sunlight. When he looked down, he saw the airfield had been completely renovated and was now in use. There were mechanics in blue overalls walking around and 4 yellow planes parked on the runway. One of these was a model which, for all his aviation experience, he completely failed to recognize. The base at Drem was eventually resurfaced in 1939 and went on to become an air defense fighter unit for Edinburgh during the Second World War. Goddard's alleged time slip is made all the more believable by the fact that while RAF training planes were simply a silver, aluminium color in 1935, they began to be painted in a distinctive yellow color soon after. And around the same time, the Air Force changed their mechanic overalls from tan to blue. In August of the last year, a man named Edward claimed to be a time traveler and says he has photographic evidence from the year 3000. According to him, the future seems bleak for humanity. Supposed time traveler known only as Edward has revealed a chilling glimpse into humanity's future. He appears clutching a photo which is claimed to show life in an underwater city, believed to be Los Angeles, 3,000 years into the future. Edward, who has been blurred and had his voice changed as he does not want to be identified, claims he was part of a top-secret experiment in 2004. It meant he was able to time travel, he claims, and he managed to get some photographic evidence of what he saw. The supposed time traveler is thought to have been filmed somewhere in Armenia and claims he was working in a laboratory in Los Angeles when he was given the task of time traveling and taking photos. He said, "I was standing on a huge wooden platform. Not only me, houses, buildings, of course, all made from wood. And after, I realized it was the same city, Los Angeles, but underwater." The photo itself seems to be quite easy to fake. and the 3,000 years period makes it all more complex. Nicely played, Mr. Edward. There is a constellation of questions that one could ask about time and time travel that would continue to remain unanswered. Maybe the answer to all these questions lies in science, or maybe asking these questions could be a waste of time because the concept of time is subjective. Whatever the truth, maybe, for now, time travel is still a possibility. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too." Or will it?